All right, for this example right here, we're going to graph the exponential, but we're going to put a negative in front. And so we're going to graph this one, the y equals negative 1/3 to the x, but I'm going to compare it to y equals 1/3 to the x. You can see I have that graphed in the red. And what's going to happen is this graph is going to flip over this x-axis, and it's going to look like this, just because I have this negative in front. So again, if we don't know that that's what it's going to do, we can just go right to an XY chart. We'll plug in our normal 5 X values, and then we'll see what the Y values are, and it should look like this graph right there. All right, let's go to our XY chart. Okay, and I always like starting with 0 first. So let's see here, we'll have negative, and then I'll have 1/3, and let's put 0 in. So if I put the 0 in, anything raised to the 0 is 1, but since I have that negative on the outside, I drop the negative, so I get -1. So that's also the y-intercept. Let's see here, if I put 1 into x, okay, if I put 1 into x, I have -1/3 to the 1, which just gives us -1/3. So we got -1/3. Okay, then if I put in 2, let's put in 2 for x. Okay, I'll erase this. Let's put in 2 for x. So we have -1/3 squared. Okay, the negative stays on the outside, and then 1 squared is 1. This, when you get 3 squared, it's 9, so it gives us -1/9. Okay, and then if I go the other way, you can see this is where it levels off. If I put in -1, okay, I'm going to put that in for x. So let's get rid of this. Okay, I'm going to put in -1. So if I raise it to -1, I leave the negative there, but then I flip this 3 and this 1, so it becomes 3/1, which is just -3. Okay, and then if I want to put -2 in for x, you can probably see the pattern here. Okay, I'm going to get rid of this, change that to the -2. So I still have this negative, then you flip, so it becomes 3 squared over 1 squared, which is just 9, leave the negative, so it's -9. Alright, so you can see as you go to the left, it decreases exponentially. So let's just graph these three, see if it matches up with our original picture. Okay, -2, -9, I go to the left 2, and I go down 9, which is going to be, it's going to be off the chart a little bit, it's about right there. Okay, if I graph -1, -3, I go to the left 1, down 3, which is right there. Okay, 0, -1 is my y-intercept, I just go down 1. Okay, I have 1, -1/3, which is right about here. And then 2, -1/9, this is where it levels off. So if you look, this is our graph. Okay, I'm going to move up to see if it matches up, and you can see how it kind of matches up with this right there. It's the same as what was on here. Okay, so let's do our last part. We're going to find our y-intercept, domain, and range. Okay, y-intercept we can see is just this point right there, which is 0, -1. Domain's always -infinity to +infinity. And the range, again, the range is the y values. This whole curve is below the x-axis. So all these y values are negative. You can still even see it on the xy chart. All these y values are negative. So this goes down to -infinity and gets closer and closer to 0. So we got -infinity to 0, parentheses. Alright, so again, you can always rely on making your XY chart. You're always going to get the same type of curve. And this one actually kind of looks like it goes up left to right, but then levels off as you go to the right.